Hey guys, what's going on? It's Calamity here to bring you another episode of the Anything Goes podcast. Now, I know it's been a while, and you'd think we'd have a lot to talk about, which we do, but I'm not going all the way back to my last video. That would be a lot of stuff to go over. I'm just basically doing the last week or two for stuff, and yeah, we're going to do movies, sports, and Call of Duty stuff. We're going to go over all of the roster mania stuff that has happened with Call of Duty. And I know that this isn't, this podcast isn't Call of Duty based, but Call of Duty is my favorite video game, and I like to go over some of the news and stuff for that, because it is pretty exciting, and it is, it's an esport, so it's pretty entertaining. But anyway, so to get into the movies, we got just some little stuff to go over, and then we got a couple big things to talk about. We'll do the not so important stuff first. Let's see. We have the final trailer for No Time to Die, which is the final movie in the James Bond series for Daniel Craig. I couldn't think of his name for a second. I think that's his last one. I can't really remember. There might be. No, I think it's his last one. And then we have the first trailer for Red Notice, which if you haven't seen that, I definitely suggest watching it. It definitely looks interesting. I will most likely watch it. It has The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot in there, and I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong, but it looks pretty good. Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot they're thieves. They steal, really high-priced items, no matter what they are. And The Rock is part of the FBI, and he's in charge of hunting them down and arresting them. He ends up arresting Ryan Reynolds, and they end up teaming together to try and get Gal Gadot. It looks, it's a lot of action. It's got Ryan Reynolds and The Rock in it, so there's going to be some comedy in there, which there definitely was in the trailer. So it's a comedy, action, adventure type of movie. Looks pretty good. I'm going to watch it, as I said. I don't think I saw a release date. There probably was one on the trailer, but I just didn't see it or mark it down. And then we have Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson will star in Apple TV's Ghosted, a romantic action-adventure film. That's all we have on it so far. We have Shazam! Fury of the Gods has finished filming. That is obviously the second movie of Shazam. Saw the first one. I liked it. It's up there with one of my favorite DC movies. We'll see how the second one goes, and we'll see how Black Adam goes, because that's supposed to be a villain for Shazam. Let's see. We have the Shang-Chi movie released today in theaters. I think it has a 45-day window in theaters only. And then after that, it's probably going to come to Disney Plus. That hasn't been reported yet, but that's, it's a Disney movie. A Marvel movie. So they're probably going to come. It's probably going to come to Disney Plus. If not Disney Plus, then some sort of streaming service or something else will probably pick it up. But I'm assuming it's Disney Plus. And Shang-Chi looks good. I want to see it, but with everything going on with COVID, I don't know if I'll go to theaters to see it. Waiting the 45 days is going to suck. So that's kind of why I'm debating on going to see it or not going to see it. I don't know. Then we have Mark Ruffalo and Oscar Isaac seen in Budapest, where Moon Knight is filming. So that's kind of interesting. So that might mean that the Hulk is in Moon Knight when that releases. I forget the release date on that. Let's see. And then we just have a couple reviews and a trailer to go over. And the trailer is pretty big. So we're going to go over the reviews first. The first one I want to go over is Suicide Squad, the new Suicide Squad movie. That came out a month ago, I think. Maybe a little bit longer than that. Well, actually, no, probably 2 months ago now. And I kind of have mixed feelings about it. It was good, but I'm trying to think. It was a good DC movie, but it wasn't great. I liked the first Wonder Woman better. I liked Aquaman better. I liked Shazam better. I like the Snyder Cut better, but that's a different story. It was good. The actors were really good in it, and the writing was pretty good. The only thing I didn't like was, actually, there was a couple things I didn't like. So the thing I like about Marvel over DC, at least movie-wise, and I know this is going to sound, this might sound weird, but Marvel to me is more realistic than DC. DC, I don't want to give too much away for Suicide Squad, but let's put it this way. The Suicide Squad villain isn't realistic at all. And then you go on top of that with two of the people that's in the Suicide Squad in this movie aren't realistic either. At least two of them. And it's just, it kind of like deters me from watching anything like that, because it's just not, and I know it's like superheroes and stuff, so it's not really meant to be realistic, but like I think that's what draws so much more people into Marvel, is that they put it into like real world like aspects. Like I know obviously there's no super soldier serum. You can't, there's no Captain America or Captain Marvel or whatever in real life, but it's more feasible, at least. And DC really isn't that. And maybe that's just the way DC is, at least their comics and everything. But I think that's why most of their stuff is not very good. Now, other reasons for other stuff not being good is, writing or acting or directing or anything like that. That I can at least understand, is just like someone didn't do a good job. But like with this one, it was good, but I think it would have been better had the like main thing that they fought at the end of the movie was something more realistic than what it was, and members of the Suicide Squad weren't like so out there and so just not very heroic, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to describe without watching it. If you guys have watched it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I mean, actually, I can go over the two people in Suicide Squad that I didn't think were realistic and very good, because I'm pretty sure they were shown in the trailer. If like they weren't shown in the trailer, then they were shown on like IMDb as like cast members or whatever. But anyway, so Polka Dot Man and I don't even know what his name is. Shark Man, I think is what, I don't even know what his actual like name is, to be completely honest. But literally a shark, a human built shark, and Polka Dot Man. Like when I say Polka Dot Man, does that strike you as like a thing that you can believe in, or like it just doesn't make, like he literally throws polka dots at you and it like cuts you in half or like does some like weird stuff. It's just that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't interest me very much. And I would say something about the villain that they faced at the end, but I'm not quite sure if he was in the trailer or not, or I shouldn't say it was in the trailer or not. So I don't really want to discuss that, but those two guys in Suicide Squad to me weren't realistic, and I kind of just didn't pay attention to them in the movie. Just because, I mean, honestly, just because they didn't interest me at all, because he's Polka Dot Man and Shark Man. I mean, Shark Man was interesting. I can't really say that he was not realistic because Guardians of the Galaxy has a talking tree. So, I mean, I can understand that a little bit. I didn't mind the Shark Man as much, But the Polka Dot Man, I definitely was like, he is a useless character. I could care less about him. I mean, he did serve kind of a purpose in the movie, but it just, I don't know. I just didn't like that. But all in all, it was still a good movie, so I definitely would suggest watching it, especially if you're a DC fan. And again, this is not, I want DC to be good. So don't take this as me like just shitting on DC, but that's just my honest opinions of the movie. I'm sorry if that offends a couple of people. And then we have the Marvel's What If review, because I haven't talked about that yet. I also didn't, I think the last thing I talked about on the podcast must have been, it's been a while. So I don't think I talked about Loki at all on the podcast. I think the last thing I talked about with the Falcon was the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which was a really good show. The Loki was really good, kind of set up everything in the universe without getting too much into it for people that haven't watched it. So like basically throughout all these shows, except for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's at least one person in each show that has gotten blamed for starting the multiverse. So in WandaVision, I'm pretty sure it was Wanda. Well, it was either Wanda or oh my god, I can't think of the villain's name in that show for some reason. Is it Agatha? I don't know why I can't think of it. So it was one of them that got blamed for starting the multiverse there. And then in Loki, it was technically Loki. If you guys have seen it, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then I guess in What If, there really isn't someone who's started the multiverse. There just is the multiverse. So that's a little different. And then when we talk about the trailer that we're going to talk about after this, which I'm sure you guys probably know what it is, someone else is getting blamed for the multiverse. So it's just kind of funny to see all that. But What If is definitely a good show. I kind of wish it wasn't animated. I mean, it's still good animated, don't get me wrong. I love What If because it explores literally what if in other universes, which is really cool. I like that. But I just wish it wasn't animated because I can't get as into it because it's animated. If it wasn't animated, I would be like, it'd probably be my favorite show, to be completely honest. Right now, my favorite show on there in the Marvel universe is probably the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I like that one a lot. Probably then Loki and then WandaVision. They were all really good, so I definitely suggest watching them all if you haven't watched them. I'm definitely telling all my friends to watch all the Marvel shows if they're into Marvel at all. You don't even have to like follow the whole universe. Just watch those shows if you've seen like 2 things from Marvel and liked them. The last episode of What If was pretty crazy. We just saw a whole universe, well, I guess I can't say if you haven't watched it. So I guess I won't do that. I won't ruin it for you. But anyway, definitely suggest watching What If. They are 4 episodes in. Yeah, they're 4 episodes in. I can't remember the amount of episodes that they have for the first season. I want to say 9, but I could be wrong. It's probably less than that. And now we get into the trailer that we're going to talk about. It is the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which I'm sure a lot of you guys saw coming. It did get leaked, which is why Marvel had to release it, which is unfortunate. You don't want to see a trailer like that, and you don't want to see it released, or you don't want to see it leaked in general. You want to see the actual trailer from Marvel the way they wanted it to come out, it's the same trailer that we would have seen anyways, I think. I mean, I guess I can't say that because I don't work in Marvel. But it looks really good. Just from the trailer, if you guys, look it up. I mean, I can explain to you everything. Well, not everything, but what's going on. They didn't show anything of Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, of course, because they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna ruin, that for us. But the person that gets blamed for starting the multiverse is Doctor Strange, because he's actually the one who helps Peter Parker try and have people forget that he's Spider-Man. But while Doctor Strange is casting his spell on the world, I guess, Peter Parker's talking to him the entire time, and he's like, "Well, maybe my Aunt May should know I'm Spider-Man, or maybe MJ should still know I'm Spider-Man, or maybe my friends from school should know." He just keeps going on and on. Doctor Strange is like, "Stop talking! I'm trying to do this. Stop talking." And then when the spell goes off, they're like, "Oh, did it work? Like, what's going on?" You find out that there's, supposedly there's supposed to be 6 villains. We've only seen 5. There's been plenty of speculation on who the 6th one is. So far, the villains that have been announced are Lizard, Electro, Green Goblin, Doc Ock. Oh my God, and Sandman. So those are the 5 that we know right now. They weren't all. I mean, I guess they technically were all shown in the trailer. Whether it be a laugh or actually shown, or even, if they were shown for a split second, or if they were shown for, there's been plenty of screenshots of the trailer. I'm sure if you go anywhere online or on Twitter, you'll see all the screenshots, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is Sandman," or "This is Electro," or something like that, just so you can actually see that's who that's supposed to be. But my feeling is that there's also been speculation that Daredevil's in it. The actor who plays Daredevil, Charlie Cox, he came out and said that he's not in the trailer, but he didn't deny that he's in the movie. All he said was he wouldn't want to ruin it either way. So that kind of, if you're not in it, just say you're not in it. Right? So my feeling is we're going to get, it would make sense because he's in New York, but, a lot of other characters from Marvel are in New York, so that doesn't really mean anything. And the scene that everyone's talking about that they think it's Daredevil, Peter Parker's in a New York police department. He has a file in his hand, and there's someone's hand, like, straight down on the table, like this. And everyone's like, "Oh, that's Daredevil's forearm." It's like, how do you know that's Daredevil's forearm? Just because he's a lawyer doesn't mean he's in NYPD. Come on. Anyway, I didn't really think that was Daredevil. A lot of people did, though. It could be. They could be, just messing with us, obviously, like Marvel likes to do. Which I don't blame them at all. I would definitely mess with people, too. But my feeling is, I think the 6th villain is going to be I want to say it's going to be Venom, but I feel like it's not going to be Venom. I don't know. Like, just hearing me say that right now just was kind of like, really? Is it going to be Venom? I don't know. I'm just going to say Venom because I don't really know who else they would have in there. I'm sure there's a plethora of villains that they could choose from and put in there. But Venom to me would make sense, but at the same time it wouldn't make sense. I don't know. It's weird. But and Doc Ock obviously is the returning actor from the old Spider-Man movies. We don't know who the Green Goblin is yet because all we saw was one of his I think they call him pumpkin bombs. That's the only thing that we saw. And we did get a laugh. A lot of people said it was William Dafoe's laugh for Green Goblin, so it could be him. I hope it is him. I thought he played a really good Green Goblin. And then Electro, we already know, is Jamie Foxx. I don't think we know who Sandman is. We probably know who Lizard is, but I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and that's where he's from. So I don't know if it's the same actor or not that's playing him. I don't think it really matters though, because you can't really tell who the actor is. I think because based off of his his character. His character is literally a lizard, so it's hard to tell. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So yeah, I think Daredevil will probably be in it. But I don't think that was his forearm. I think they're trying to, keep it as close to the chest as possible without revealing too much in the trailer, because obviously this is a really hyped up movie. So obviously they're not going to show any of the Spider-Men. They're not going to show. I mean, the fact that they're not showing the last villain, if there is actually 6 villains, I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to be 6 or if that's just like a rumor. The fact that they're not showing them is kind of interesting. Unless they're going to bring Mysterio back, but I don't think he'd be like a villain in this unless he's from another universe or it's, I don't know. I think it's probably going to be Venom, to be honest, but we don't know. Anything can happen in this. And I think that because villains are coming back from other universes, I think that it only makes sense that the other Spider-Man would come back. Or even it might not even be that those villains are coming into this universe. It could be that Tom Holland got put into their universe and he keeps like cycling through them. So like, which is a very interesting theory, and actually a friend of mine brought that up, which I thought was very interesting. It would make sense, other than the fact that when Doctor Strange cast his spell, they didn't actually like go to a different universe. At least from the trailer, that's what it looks like. It looks like they stay in their universe and that these villains come to their universe. But it could very well be that Tom Holland and technically Doctor Strange get transported through like to another universe where there's the Green Goblin, there's the Sandman, there's Doc Ock. They have to like fight their way through those 3, and then they go to another universe, and it's the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe where they have to face Electro and Lizard and possibly the other villain. I could see that making a whole lot of sense. So, and if that's the case, maybe Tom Holland Spider-Man replaces the Spider-Man that's in that universe, or maybe he just fights with that Spider-Man of that universe, which would be cool either way. I would like to see all 3 Spider-Man like fight with each other. Not fight with each other, but you know what I mean. Fight together. I think that'd be really cool. It all depends on how they want to do it. So we'll see. But that's all the movie news I wanted to talk about. We're now going to get into some sports. Obviously more stuff than this happened since my last video, but we're just going to go over this stuff because I think it's important. One of them is for one of my favorite teams in the NFL, so I thought that was pretty important. And it's actually Cam Newton got released by the Patriots. They named Mac Jones their starter, which is very interesting to me. I don't know if releasing him was a favor to Cam Newton, because you could probably trade him and get something at least. I thought they were just going to sit Cam Newton and Mac Jones would be the starter, and they'd get rid of like Brian Hoyer. But they just straight up released Cam Newton, said goodbye. Sorry, I just like slapped my microphone or my mouse. They just released Cam Newton, said goodbye, and made Mac Jones a starter, which, I mean, I liked Cam Newton. Unfortunately, it didn't work here. I still wish he was on the team. I wish he was a backup, but I'm okay with Mac Jones starting. I think he's going to be really good. He's definitely a Tom Brady-esque quarterback, so Belichick and McDaniels should be perfectly happy with Mac Jones. I think the Patriots will be pretty good this year, honestly. And then we have J.K. Dobbins tears his ACL. He's done for the year, unfortunately. I think they said there could be something else wrong with his knee too. He might have tore another ligament in his knee as well, which sucks. He was projected to have a good year this year. And then we have Michigan wins the Little League World Series, and Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley by split decision, which a lot of people think that fight was rigged again. Woodley had Paul on the ropes, and Paul just held on, and there was nothing going on after that. And then he hopped right up off the ropes, and it was weird. I didn't watch it, but I saw that moment and was like, huh, that's weird. But whatever. We'll see what Jake Paul does for his next fight. They definitely want a rematch, though, so we'll see how that goes. And we have the last piece of sporting news, which is Cristiano Ronaldo goes to Manchester United and scores his So I was trying to think of how to word this. He scored the game winner, but it's the latest career goal that he has scored in a game. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, the latest goal he scored in a game in his career, which is cool. And then he also, with that goal, he becomes the record holder for most international goals scored in men's football history with 110, which is absolutely ridiculous. Ronaldo's a beast. Let's see. So that's it for sports, and we go right into Call of Duty. We're just going to go over the roster mania stuff that's happened. Pretty crazy stuff at the end of this section that's happened. We have Paris Legion did a squad wipe, and their CDL spot is up for sale. So no more Paris Legion. Another team's going to have to step in and buy their spot. They don't have to be from Paris. They can be, based out of anywhere, because the whole spot is up for sale. Then we have the Seattle Surge did a squad wipe. A lot of people are speculating that Octane's probably going to go to LA Thieves. We'll see. Then we have LAG. They did a squad wipe. They even got rid of some of their Challengers players, I believe, and a few of their coaches. London releases Paul X, Zed, Alex, and their coach Shane. Zed went on to actually retire after this. And then NYSL released Diamond Con and their coach. Minnesota released Accuracy. LA Thieves released TJ, Venom, John, and Slasher. So they're creating some room for people. I think a few people. So we have Octane as rumored to go there. We have someone else that's coming up that just got released. That was pretty crazy. That could sign there, which I'll go over in a second. And then we have Dallas releases Crimsix and Vivid, and we have Chicago release Envoy, and Formal retires, which Formal retiring is, it kind of makes sense, but releasing Envoy, that was interesting to me, but with this next piece of news, it makes more sense. We have Dallas and Chicago merge and make Dallas Optic with Scump, Dashy, Illy, and Shotzi, which is a ridiculous roster, which makes sense as to why they released Envoy, and makes sense why Dallas released Crimsix and Vivid. Now this at the moment is a rumor. Nothing has been signed supposedly yet or made official. But there's a lot of talk going on that Dallas and Chicago have merged, making Dallas Optic. So no more Empire, and Chicago's spot is up for sale now. So that's two team spots that are up for sale. And that roster is ridiculous. Scump, Dashy, Illy, and Shotzi. Scump being paired with Shotzi is crazy, and Dashy and Illy are just nuts. And the other player I was talking about, rumored going to LA Thieves, is Envoy, which makes sense. Right now they got Kenny and Draza. Not sure. So I think they'd probably keep Draza on the sub, and they'd have Draza and Envoy on sub, and Kenny and Octane on AR, which would be an insane AR duo. That AR duo could probably keep up. Would definitely keep up with if it is true, Dallas Optic. I'm trying to think of a couple AR duos that would be pretty ridiculous. Yeah, for the most part, those are going to be the two ARs that are actually FaZe has their own pretty good one. Arcides and Celium are a pretty good AR duo, which you don't really need to have a great AR duo there. Woo! Excuse me. You don't really need to have a great AR duo there because of your submachine guns. I think as a whole, the Dallas team right now, Dallas Optic, if it is Scump, Dashy, Illy, and Shotzi, it's probably I'm gonna eat my words on that. I want to say the most talented roster as a whole. But if that LA Thieves roster comes together and the FaZe roster, which I'm pretty sure FaZe is returning all their players, will be those two teams will be able to keep up with Dallas. Don't get me wrong, Dallas will probably have its problems, but I think it'll be a good year for Call of Duty. It just depends on how good the game is. And so far, from what I've played, Champions Hill is pretty fun. Looks like it's going to be a good game, but there is some stuff they need to fix. And I know that the Champions Hill was an alpha, so there's a lot of stuff that's going to change probably. I will say Time to Kill needs to be a little bit longer. And what else? Time to Kill needs to go a little bit longer. A couple of the guns need to be nerfed, but obviously it's an alpha, so like whatever. It was still a fun game, fun to play. Like I said, the Time to Kill seemed pretty short. A lot of the guns were like a 2-shot kill in core, and that's ridiculous. At least to me, that's what it seemed like. I could be wrong, but we'll see when the game actually comes out. But that's all I have for you guys this week. I should be back again next week, barring any changes. It could be earlier in the week instead of the weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for next week. Stay tuned on Twitter at TDG Calamity. And I get all of my movie entertainment news from Culture Crave on Twitter. So give them a follow. And yeah, have a good weekend, everyone. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.